Hi, this is my response to Jeremy Etier's video, What's the most amount of fat you can lose in a week and how to do it? Well, I believe it's 1 to 2 pounds if you don't have a lot to lose, especially if you're older like me, over 60. So let's see what he has to say. I follow him. I subscribe to his channel because I find that he's very knowledgeable and my philosophy and the research that I'm looking at is very similar to his. So he practices intermittent fasting. I also do. He believes the diet is the most important. I also do.
Even a six pack, most of us want results as fast as possible. In our eyes, the faster we can burn off our excess fat, the better, right? Well, not really. Because what most people don't realize is there's actually an upper limit as to how much fat you can lose every week. And if you try to push past this weekly limit by doing more cardio or eating even less, for example, then you'll now start to lose substantially more muscle instead of fat. Do this for months on end, which many people unfortunately do, and you'll eventually end up with a skinny fat physique with too little muscle and still too much fat. So now the real question becomes, what's the most amount of fat you can lose per week while minimizing muscle loss in the process? As this is going to better enable you to attain the lean, muscular physique you're after instead of just winding up skinny fat. And to answer this question, we'll use the findings of a 2005 paper by researcher Dr. Alpert, who analyzed several fat loss studies in an attempt to quantify the maximum amount of fat one can lose per day without excessive muscle loss. What he found is that the body is capable of burning body fat to use for energy at a maximum rate of 31 calories per pound of body fat per day. Once you exceed this rate, the body then has to tap into your muscle mass in order to make up for its energy needs. And although the study is theoretical and does have its limitations, when you crack out the numbers, they actually align well with both past research on the topic and with my own experience as a coach as well. But to put this theory into perspective for you, let's use an example. Let's say John weighs 200 pounds and is at 20% body fat. Multiply these two numbers and we can determine that John has 40 pounds of body fat. Multiply this by the maximum rate I mentioned earlier of 31 calories per pound of body fat, and we get 1240 calories. This represents the maximum daily calorie deficit John should employ every day to maximize fat loss while minimizing muscle loss. And to find out what this would equate to in terms of pounds of fat loss per week, we can multiply this number by 7 to represent a week and then divide it by 3,500 since we know that this is roughly what 1 pound of fat is equivalent to. And as you can see, we end up with 2.5 pounds, which represents the theoretical maximum.
So I said 1 to 2 pounds. So right there, actually, I'm more conservative. Right there, it says 2.5 pounds. So I've been losing about 1 pound. I lost about 4 pounds as of this morning since April 20, which is about 22 days ago. So 22 days is about 4 weeks and 2 days. No, 4 weeks, 4 weeks and 1 day, right? 7 days. Yeah, 4 weeks and 1 day. So I'm actually even a little bit less than 1 pound loss. So I'm a very healthy. I'm very healthy. It's going to be long term. My concern is when you lose more than that. Yeah, I read a lot about this, but he gave a specific number 2.5. I thought it was between 1 and 2. I always thought when I read in the past, never go exceed 2. Unless you're hundreds and hundreds of pounds overweight, then you could afford to. But when you only got about 30 pounds to lose, like what I have, uh, what I understand is not more than 2, but actually it could go to 2.5. Interesting.
Amount of fat John could lose per week while minimizing muscle loss. Whereas on the contrary, if you're a leaner individual like Jimmy here who weighs 170 pounds and is at 15% body fat, then in this case he'd only be carrying around 26 pounds of fat, and therefore his theoretical maximum rate of weekly fat loss would be just 1.6 pounds.
Okay, so it varies, so it's not specific. Okay, because my time is up, click the subscribe button, the like button, and leave a comment, and we'll see you in a bit.